triggered. What is actually trigger? We hear this word so often, so constantly in every other conversation, but do we really understand what actually trigger is? Or do we understand what is the science behind it? People think that trigger is getting angry or throwing tantrum over a particular situation or just a dramatic event. But in scientific manner, or if you understand trigger with psychology, you will know that it's a biological hijack. It's the moment when your nervous system just decides that the memory which has happened 20 years ago is happening right now. It is the situation where you suddenly start feeling heat inside your body, where your heart is pounding, your chest has become tight, and logic has literally vanished. But in reality, you will see that you are just sitting at a dinner table and having a conversation. Hi, I'm Dr. Inuka Korvi, and welcome back to the fourth episode of Beautiful Minds. In our previous episodes, I have already spoken about quantum physics and how our thoughts shape our reality. We have spoken about wiring and firing of neurons and how our nervous system is developed. And in the second episode, I have spoken about art of surrender. But today we address the biggest obstacle of surrender, the trigger. Today I'm going to show you why your overreactions are actually your survival signals and how you can finally turn your alarms off. When we talk about trigger, we have to understand what is C-PTSD, which is complex post-stress traumatic disorder. Unlike a single event where we call it PTSD, which you have already heard, I assume, but C-PTSD is formed in environments where you are constantly walking on eggshells or where you had to be alert all the time or sense the room before entering just to stay safe. If you grew up in a home where you are constantly criticized and there is constant emotional chaos, all the noises, adults fighting, your brain developed a hypersensitive smoke detector called amygdala. When you're triggered by the tone of voice or the look or the silent treatment, your amygdala shuts down the logical brain. You aren't thinking anymore. You are in a nervous system flashback. You are a 10-year-old in a 30-year-old body fighting for your life. Think of the last time you felt a sharp, painful stink of jealousy while you were scrolling through social media. People will just tell you to ignore this feeling or just stop scrolling or delete those apps which make you feel this way. I am telling you to just stop and listen to yourself at that moment where you feel that sharp sting of jealousy or whatever that feeling of lack. In the context of C-PTSD, jealousy is actually the grief response. You aren't mad at their success, you are grieving the validation you never received. You are triggered because their freedom reminds you the part of yourself you had to suppress to survive. That sting is also a signal of expansion. Your body is literally telling you that I am ready for this too. I want to grow, I want to be seen, I want to experience the same abundance. Your jealousy is just a map of your old wounds. It's not sin, it's just information. Do not walk away when you feel those clinch of jealousy whenever you come across anything which is causing that. When that clench of jealousy hits, do not walk away. Do this with me. Let's do the butterfly hug. Just cross your arms around your chest and just tap it left and right one by one and say it to yourself that this feeling, this jealousy is just my potential trying to wake me up and tell me that I'm not behind, I'm just beginning. By doing this, you're teaching your brain that other person's success is not a threat. It's a preview to what is possible for you. You are moving yourself from competitive survival to quantum expansion. You are telling your body that it is safe to want more. Now let's talk about the triggers which are like deeply woven in the social fabrics. The unsolicited advices. We've all been there. You're just sharing your win, or simply living your life, or just simply existing, and you find out that the elderly person or any authoritative figure steps in and starts with, you should be doing this way, or this person did it and he's doing so well, and comparison tone. And there's also this, in our generation we used to do it this way, and all of a sudden you just shut down yourself or just shut the other person up, and then later on feel guilty about it and ask yourself, why did I react in that way? They were just trying to help me or just trying to have a conversation. Why did I reacted so intense? To the nervous system shaped by C-PTSD, the unsolicited advice isn't just a suggestion, it's the violation of autonomy. If you grew up in a high controlling environment where your voice didn't really matter, your brain learned that advice is equal to eraser. When someone gives you unsolicited advice you didn't really ask for, your amygdala doesn't hear help, it just hears that you are incompetent and I am the one who is in control and you are still a child. How to reclaim your space. Next time this happens, don't argue. Arguments keep you in the fight state. Instead, try this. The internal boundaries. Visualize a clear glass between you and the person who is giving the advice. You can hear the words, but don't let that touch your skin. Whisper to yourself or think that I am the authority of my life. This simple sentence reminds your prefrontal cortex that you are an adult standing in 2026 and not in 1995. The physical grounding. Whenever you find yourself in a situation where you're triggered or you're about to get triggered, try to feel your feet on the ground or tap on the ground or press your big toe firmly on the ground. Feel the ground. This physical sensation pulls you back from the emotional flashback you are experiencing and bring your body to a present state. You're not being disrespectful for feeling triggered. You're simply feeling the part of you which is finally strong enough to protect its own boundaries. In Art of Surrender, we surrender to the truth and not the people's control. For young girls and boys or even kids, trigger is not about some deep trauma, it's often about autonomy, fairness, and sensory safety. Let's take a simple example of what I'm trying to say. If a young girl sees her sibling or a friend being praised for being quiet, being praised for being organized, or being the one who's helping or helpful, she feels a sudden surge of anger or a meanness towards the other person, and we often call this jealousy, but this isn't jealousy, it's trigger. Her body is reacting to the fear of being invisible. To her nervous system, invisible is equal to unloved, unseen, or unsafe. Think of a child who's playing a video game or trying to draw a picture, and suddenly an adult walks in and starts giving the child advices that it's not to be drawn this way, or this is not to be played this way or that way. You will see a reaction of immediate explosion or a child shutting down. That's not the child being spoiled. They are experiencing the loss of agency. For a child, their sense of self is very fragile. Being corrected constantly can trigger their survival response, trying to protect their identity. The door slam trigger. Imagine a teenage boy who grew up in a house where loud noise usually meant the starting of an argument, and now when he goes to any friend's house and he experiences the loud noise of cars door slamming or a heavy book, dropping of a heavy book, he suddenly becomes quiet or on guard, scanning for the room. His heart starts racing, he suddenly becomes quiet or on guard, starts scanning the room for threats which isn't there. His body is time traveling to the moment where loud noises meant that he had to hide. If you're a parent watching this and you see your child explode over a small comment, remember that they aren't giving you a hard time. They are going through a hard time. Their body has detected a pattern they don't know how to handle. By staying calm, you are helping them build a wider window for their future. Healing does not mean that you have become trigger proof or you don't get triggered anymore. It means that the space between the trigger and your reaction gets wider. And that space is where you create your new reality. This space is where you finally surrender. The sensation you feel when you're triggered. Is it the knot in your stomach or heat on your face? Let's name the sensation and release the power it has over you. I'm Dr. Renuka. Be soft with yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode of Beautiful Minds. Bye bye.